I'd like to call the State City School Board of Education, August 28th, board meetings order. It is now 5:15. Next item on the agenda is the pledge of allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States to the republic Next item on the agenda is roll call, please.
David Camilla, Board Secretary of the Joyce Wizard, Board Vice President Paul Gonzalez, Board President Michael Pinkham.
President. No forum. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
President, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agenda for today's regular board meeting.
I have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Do I have a second? I have a second by Dr. Missouri. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Item H, July 17, 2025, regular board meeting.
I'll go ahead and motion to approve. Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the July 17, 2025 regular board meeting minutes.
I have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Do I have a second? I'll second it. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public input. We have no public input. Next item on the agenda is finance report. B.
The finance committee met Wednesday, August 27, 2025. July 2025 financial reports for the general and student activity accounts were reviewed as follows. Operating activity base reports and checklist listings. Operating revenue and expenditure reports of funds. Purchase orders issued in July 2025. Payroll journal report. Fund balance report. Pledge collateral report. The budget adjustment request to include initial bar 692526001. Increased budget bar 69222526005 and decreased budget bar 692526005. We also have a $5,000 donation from Paul David and Linda Herrera for the Robinson High School football team. And the recommendation is by the committee to approve the financial reports for July 2025 and approve the bars and the donation reports.
Just Mr. Brown.
Did all already not get the financial reports? I never received it.
Sandoval.
Based on what I see, how Mr. Brown, I apologize, she was sent it to the finance.
Is there any questions that you thought that we could answer, Mr. Brown?
No, I haven't seen it.
You, Ms. Sandoval, is this something that we can take into the next meeting,
Yes.
including the donation and we go ratify this one? If, it's okay with the board, we can table it on the finance report, of all the consent items.
I'm gonna make a motion that we table consent items to the next regular meeting.
Item A through D. Have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Porter. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll do all five of the conditions so that doesn't go this to the next item on the agenda is presentation. The Carmel Memorial. This Daniels for Mr. Orlando Romero, Marcus Espinosa.
Mr. President, members of the board, I'd like to call There's, now and. Dedication. Very. We have the district board of education. Providing, again.
Sorry.
Next item on the agenda, presentation by MD, all electric purpose zero emissions for pilot project. Thank you, Representative of the board, Super Canadian and Mark, that's the great Colorado company. Pleased to be with you tonight to discuss with you your participation in the project that the city of New Mexico is beginning with your being one of the first three to participate in the project state. To give you a little overview, back in January, the governor signed a memorandum of understanding with Green Power to conduct a 2-year pilot project in the state of New Mexico on electric school buses. The legislature funded that project during the session, and under the procurement rules now have moved forward for that project to begin this school year. It is a 2-year pilot project, this school year and next school year. And in this first school year, we will be piloting what's called an IA bus. So when you think about school buses, there are 4 types of school buses: an A, B, and C, and D. So if we think of the A school bus, it's a small bus. It might be a special needs bus, might be an activity bus, or it might be used in routes that have fewer students that you don't need a bigger bus to go on. And in the first year, that's the bus that will be piloted across the state of New Mexico at 15 different school districts over the school year. How this happens is there are 3 buses. One bus goes to each school for each around for 6 weeks. It's in that school district to use in their normal operations of their school bus, and the state collects data through the telematics of the vehicles so that the state can help assess the future of the vehicles, electric school buses, and how they operate, and what the challenges or opportunities are in the state. Green Power conducted this same type of pilot project back a couple of school years ago in the state of West Virginia. And the folks from the state offices had come out and looked at that project in West Virginia, and then wanted to do that here in the state of New Mexico as well. One of the things I think is very forward thinking of the state is they're taking one step further than the state of West Virginia did in that pilot project. That project is really just looking at buses.
And didn't really assess parking opportunity for entities that happen in the state. The Mexico is stepping on it to really assess how different charging infrastructure operates with buses for people who be out from rural communities where we might have electrical challenges, where we might have some range challenges and things like that. So I think that's a real positive that they have stepped up from that perspective. We had a good meeting with your staff here last week, working through the details of the pilot here for the school district. Superintendent and transportation director of the mechanics and the rest of the staff and transportation department. We worked through things and had lots of good discussion about the product, about electric vehicles in general, electric school buses in general. Went out to the school where it would be deployed at, and I think we period of time with the infrastructure. And as we know, what we can tell them with the electric, but that's part of the data that's moving left by the state, the challenges operate from that perspective. So we will bring that high-pay school bus out to the district between the 15th and 17th of September. And we will do the training of your drivers, your mechanics, and your area first responders on Friday the 19th. When I talk about, I want to first talk about the mechanic training. It's a very simple mechanic training because during the pilot, your mechanics have to do anything to the vehicle. We have a dedicated staff member in the state whose job is to do nothing but to deal with the 3 buses that are out there at the pilot. It's different problems. So your mechanics don't have to in one day learn how they deal with electric vehicles and do anything because we're there to help that process through. We help them understand some basics so that, you know, sometimes it may be your mechanic on the tunnel with my service tech, we might fix a minor problem without us checking them out. But if there's a problem here, I have said effective 2 hours of love us for the pilot project. And whatever that is, the element object is success and to learn as much as we can from that perspective. The driver training, there are things you know when you run an electric vehicle. If you need to learn how the vehicles work, you need to do a little more work in that vehicle. It takes off from the start. You also need to learn how is the best way that you can use regenerative braking. Regenerative braking, of course, puts energy back into your system. So properly use regenerative braking, you extend the range of the vehicle. Just like you may get a better gas mileage if you on gas in the vehicle, certain drivers will get better range than the drivers who don't do it by that vehicle. The first responder training, we don't ever allow us to get deployed in the community. The first responders have that training vehicle. Now that doesn't mean we're giving them some nasty as well as all first responders at this point have gone through the what our training with them is more about is understanding that vehicle, understanding the disconnect points are, what you do with all that, you do that to an emergency situation. So they're familiar with that, what I guess is the way to. So that will be the training will take place from our staff here on the 19th of September. Then on the 22nd, which is the following Tuesday, will be the first deployment of buses under the state light program. And you and your fellow school district next door in West Las Vegas will both deploy that day. They will take the run in the 20 with their bus curve. Your bus will work about in the afternoon, and in between the two, the state will be coordinated to do a press conference. Exact time, exact location yet to be confirmed. We're at the meeting today, Tuesday the 22nd. Maybe the two school districts will be kind of a big day to go out. You will have that bus blocked to the 31st, and then you will move that bus on to the next round, and the charging system also goes on to the next round. I will tell you that under the agreement with the state owns these buses, the state incurs these buses. And so at the end of the year of the pilot, there will be 3 buses that the state will determine what happens to the buses at that point. I would suggest that usually what happens is one of the schools who pilots to find a getting the bus from the state, and that's not my fault. State involved. I would expect something like that and get to that infrastructure was with that bus through the process. Go with that. The other thing that we will do at the end of the 6 weeks is we'll come out and have a round table with all of your folks who the driver and anyone who is involved with the operation for the 6 weeks, because that part of what the state wants. The state wants to learn how to head it off, get it meet your need. If you have problems, if you get rid of the problems, what did you as a driver like? What did you not like about it? So all of those things will be recorded at all of them, that you your folks. And at the end of the school year, in the first school year, there will be a full report, the type A year, with how it worked, how it operated, all of the telematics related to it, or the telematics to the vehicle. I can tell you everything, what the charge of the battery is, where it's at. And so the telematics tell us so much in how it is operated. And that's good to know, because then when you make assessments about the works on the state, how it operates and handles the cases. So that's a pretty broad overview of the project. We're very excited to be here at your school district in this first round. One of the reasons that we come to see you before it is deployed is we don't ever want you to get confident in knowing what's going on. Where the project is out there. We don't want to leave tonight without you having your questions answered. If you have questions, because members of the community laws, they hear about PED, we can down there. Ask 2 questions about it. So we look to provide you with the mechanism you can help that process. So with that, Mr. President, happy to answer any questions to the board.
Have we, determined what route that's going to be on? Is that going to be in the city? Is that going to be a rural route? So what's the duration of charge? How can they do it for day? What is it?
So let's talk specifically about the 5K bus. The 5K bus is rated for 150 mile range. I will never suggest to you that you can drive it 150 miles. When we're talking about things, I like to look at 110 to 115 miles as the range that we would want to feel comfortable doing. I'll tell you that my big bus, 5D, over that 150 mile range, and I've had drivers with 246 miles. So there are the outliers that are, crazy and fantastic, but I never studied plenty of routes with the bus like that. The chart itself is just very dependent on what that vehicle is doing. So one of the things that I always find to irritate me a little with vendors is a currently vendor will come out to the school and they'll say, you need to buy all these fast cards, it's $70,000. That's all you should have. They didn't have a conversation with you about what routes, how many miles, what's your opportunity chart for the day, because all those things factor in what works best for your school. So in this case, we're not doing so that's 64 miles an hour, 32 in the morning, 32 in the afternoon. That's only going to have a chart for the day. So go out in the morning, come back, and go out in the afternoon, return those kids stay at home, put them back to the parking spot, take the chart over back. And in this case, we would use this called a level 2 flow, which means that it will charge between 17 and 19 velocity. So if that bus is 0 at night, it should won't be. But if it were at 0 on that chart, it would take it out of the chart. Again, it won't be at 0, and so the smart software of the charging system will determine the time that it's best to charge the bus overnight. The time that your utility rates are low. Utility rates at 1 a.m. there are 6 p.m. So it will be programmed that when the bus comes back in, the other than plug in just like the curve. But the curve won't get gone until it tells it what time to begin. In a different case across town, they're going to have the bus is 60 miles. And so that bus will take a opportunity charge between the morning and afternoon hour so that it can make that route time. then I make it into slab and roll, that's our rates. I don't need people think, yes, it's not a lens, but that's our rate. I don't need 100% batteries for the underground. I just need my percentage of my biggest part to be at the level that makes it right. So it doesn't mean I'm fully perfect to have them but I get back to where it needs to be, so it may have that. So it varies on how you're doing it, and with smart parking, with all the systems that exist, it gives us the opportunity to program them to be direct financial business as well as different purposes.
We have accommodations right now for the charging, treatment to 220. We have that already situated.
So, there are always challenges with electricity, and you do have challenges with electricity. Island Electric Fleets is our partner in charge of the. They were here with me last week for the facility. The run, the cable from the box to where the charger will be is a little bit longer in this case than the plan to be, but for a 6-week period, they do study that work. One of the things the electrician will be looking at when they come back out, I'll be back out next week, just so you know, is in looking at the panel campus. And the electrician is going to have to figure out how to put a AEM into that 220 box that you have. And that's something the electrician will be looking at next week. You do not have phase 3 to 480. Phase 3 to 480 is when it's required to go to the DC fast part. But we're not using the DC fast part here. It would be the level 2, so you don't have to have the phase 3 phase to be in this case. So we can get by with 208 or 220 on a single phase. They electricians will take this challenge to figure out the opportunity.
Is that going to be a cost to the district and the multiple?
You have no cost with the district. This is all, it's all paid for by Green Power under the award that the state made. Green Power.
I have one more question, sorry. Has anybody done analysis to, based on the cost of diesel today and how much it's gonna cost to charge that vehicle to see the comparison? So my first general broad answer to that question is to operate an electric vehicle at miles is 70% cheaper or what electric vehicle is us. And that's the 80% number that I'm throwing out. It's not just on the EV source, but it's also on the games and other reasons. Again, back to the big fat game bus. There are 156 less moving parts for school bus than there are on one. It's equal in which that in of itself maintenance to be. The challenge is that your mechanic can well. So there are basically 2 items that really have on this tire. And so it does review. I'm going to give you a very specific example from the pilot project that happened in West Virginia. It was at a rural school district doing County, West Virginia. And they had that. This was the type B bus. This was the big bus. They had it on a separate meter. And that meter was $236 a month compared to the US at $900 a month on diesel fuel. Now that is a fuel comparison. It doesn't include adding diesel or anything of that nature. It's just a response to diesel costs. They calculated for a 10-year period, $6,000 savings that they did that operating that. We do have the original bus that's going to be in backup. Basically, we have a lot of times about how we're staying, we have wind, lightning.
So yeah, you both still have your backup, but also one of the things that will be on the Pegasus phone is when that happens, because the software that's on the charger, if anything does happen, he's going to get an alert for the dashboard or that training. And he will also be for staff understanding all of those things about the charger dashboard and infrastructure. You have 2 different situations. You have a situation where your power causes it to go out for 20 minutes, and when the power comes back on, it recycles itself. In other cases, you have a more severe power outage, they can call, you have to reset the chart, but as notices that your staff is from that happens. One of the things that if you're running a 50% fleet of electric vehicles and you have a power situation that happens, you need to know before 5 a.m. School district or something didn't work. And so that's where that software technology and develop your staff. But in 6 weeks this year, you always have to back us brave. And I think it's important to remind everyone of one thing. These are mechanical vehicles. Mechanical vehicles break down. Doesn't matter. Electric bus, gas bus, diesel bus, propane bus, vehicle. And so I think a lot of times when there is a problem, people like, oh, I don't know, electric vehicle. No, it's the same thing that happens to all vehicles, and you fix it and you move on. First Newton, which does not operate in the effective code, they run electric vehicles all the country, they also need bad. And so that, spawn people do that because of the cold weather. Okay? And they will tell you that their uptime on their diesel, run it into back is 93%. And their uptime on their electric is 91%. So in essence, it's the same uptime of both the electric and diesel that they have an operation in. A very cool climate. While you're going to be cool during this, you'll not be in this cold. And that's it. You'll be in your fall. You know that heat draws more energy than earth. So heat will impact your range. Air conditioning will impact your range. And if it's a severe cold, you can get up to 30% reduction in heat. That again, you're putting us within your fleet on a long-term basis. Those are something you can make with your charging. Because if you are a place that has extreme cold, maybe you do need to make sure you have DC faster, so that if you need to get it, to be charged at the end of the day because you're running, but because it was very cold morning, then you have that scenario. So good management thing to look at where you move into this.
Any other questions? Thank you for your presentation. We obviously, as your superintendent, we invite you to be part of any of the activities that the superintendent can give you specifics on them. We invite you to come and see the training. I think be there on the deployment of the first day and work with the president of the last to become at the podium. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you. The second one, we went to the second one, we went to that meeting. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is old business. There is no next item is new business. I think this car meetings there. This has to be resolved.
Good afternoon, board. So what happened was just over 5 years ago, the board back then, we were given 2 years apart. We totally all this and ready to take them back to the Vietnam here. And finally, we were able to get the titles from the city of Las Vegas in the past month or 2, send the title into MVD to get the title transferred to our name, so we can actually do something with the vehicles. And what has happened is, and as maybe those of you that run the board can correct me, I didn't find in the minutes that you guys had actually accepted the donation. So the state of New Mexico will not give us title because it was never accepted by our board. We do have a resolution to the city of Las Vegas where they donated that to us, but we didn't see that.
What year?
2020.
Yeah, we technically, we cannot see any donation unless it was, brought to the attention to the board actually voted, so technically those aren't ours. We maybe taking possession of those technically not our legally, not ours, since the Board of Education. So. Well, what's that more? We have contact the city of Douglas, we have them, it's technically the ours.
At this point, those vehicles are not in operation, but if it's not used, then maybe that will upgrades to EV.
Yeah, we need to finish now.
You know, why we require acceptance together for the supposed to be for specific reasons.
But I never do anything we can to them because of the fact that they were not entitled to us because we don't work with anybody else.
Is it something that the summer we could accept, you're stating, selling, and try to put in that money to club or something, that something?
Exploring, it's sorry. Because we don't do, I mean, every resolution. All of them, but maybe, you know, doing that without much is already.
I don't think we can scrap those, I don't think that scrap or anything, take that title.
Nobody would. I mean, we don't have the title. I told them to deliver back to the city law.
What's your recommendation? This,
Explorer. State,
I guess, you can look into it, and come back to the board, this month, and let us know if it's something that we need to, ratify 5-year. But, it's something we can entertain, with the board, thoughts on it, the board of the. I think we need a little bit more information, so we can do a little bit more. Has anybody contacted the mayor to let him know if it's within the day of theirs? I guess if you come back to the information that I would you to contact the mayor. If you want to bring back to the ticket. See if we can get more. Thank you, Mr. Dawes. Next item on the agenda is item D, athletic club minimum allocation, Mr. Dawes. Dr. Dawes.
President, members of the board, superintendent. Here today to hold an increase in that meal fund for athletes who get traveling. I did a quick search and then we were research and then Northern New Mexico, the lowest price of general meal at athlete place is approximately 12.86 taxes. So currently we are $10 and being on the bus, if you look there in the back, I know there's kids that don't have, when I've driven athletes, they don't have the funds to pay that extra. So proposing we increase to $13 probably meals for all our athletes, or the government understanding on the topic.
So your recommendation is also $13?
Yes.
This sounded what we explored was to see what's your recommendation. I just feel $13 is the tight, I know it's hard on my name these days for $13, depending on approaches, various selective places you can go, sometimes the kids get tired of the place we will go, that's the only place that we put in those parameters. Is it something that we can do like a minimum of $13 and then it comes to approach it, either a different official, not a lot of places open at that time after a game, that they could be higher than that, or is that a type of range?
that is our concern, is that we need to. cafeteria product. And because, at times we do cover meals through operation funding, that, right now, we recommend that, we at least start off with this increase to $13. We are, very tight on the budget, first, particularly with, travel and, the cost for our trips. So I think that for now it's reasonable to do the 13, at least to cover that lower cost. Back to the board. Give us an opportunity to get revenue sources and perhaps increase that,
Yes, Mr. Martin.
For the school year.
the $13.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be $3 per meal, right? And, so I have an exact cost for you. And, you know, we do have coaches that are recommending and asking for at least 15. But I think that's feasible at this point. So it's about, revenue is that it's coming in, then also to increase, our other individuals to market donate and huddle and just
So what we're doing this year is we're transitioning from cap, transactions to cap fit, and the platform for each that probably huddle in this year, and there's ways to generate revenue, back to get better fund through advertising and promotion and all the sponsors, stuff like that. I've had some sponsors reach out to me and want to make donations. We don't currently have a system up that's being installed today on audio and the IC maintenance. They're installing other software in the program today, the camera. So our goal is to advertisement and sell tickets and subscription to increase the revenue for for meal.
So, Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Sandoval, either one of you want to answer this, so when a coach fundraises for his sports, or the sponsor has a civic club, does that money come from their, account, or does that come from that athletic general fund, from gates and everything else? I'm a little bit
It's my understanding that all sports and club, they have to do some fundraising, right? And a lot of that fundraising, some of it is allocated meals, travel, the rest of that is allocated for things that they need with their club that the school will not provide, like if they wanted sweaters and other attire that they would school not purchase for them, that's what they fundraise for. But it's my understanding that we allocate 5,000. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's 5,000 from the fundraising, and that goes to meals. But sometimes some clubs in the past, my understanding that they weren't required to fundraise. So some clubs and sports don't have money in their accounts for me.
So what do we do with some of the clubs or sports that don't have it in the current account? We get it with the coaches, sit down with the coach and get all the fundraising and something that gets posted. Whatever we do, one sport, one club, we should be prepared across the entire district. So if we're getting money out of the general, but the money for one club, one sport, we should get it for all.
Mr. President, I mean, so with each project, this, when I think we looked at all the accounts and specifically clubs and sports. And I was told by coaches that certain coaches weren't required to fundraise. So I made that standard for all the clubs and coaches. We're all in fundraise, we're all in the same direction, so they are doing that. Good.
Thank you. So this time for your recommendation, yes.
And Mr. Gonzalez mentioned we have a trail outlet fund beyond the fundraising that the clubs do. That will continue, so I gave you a state aid one that is funding for you.
Can you remember all of them out of the all?
No, out of the fundraising the kids do.
And just
That's what I'm hearing. The additional $3, it's still the obligation of the sports team or the club to do for that.
What happened?
Sorry,
What happened on fundraising? Didn't have any issue.
there's been some fundraiser, football team kicked off. Can't remember the exact program that we did, I think it was Mr. Fox was the one, you remember? Adrenaline was the fundraiser that we did, with this program, they generated, I think 50% of $19,000 that was fundraised into their club, their team. Volleyball, we did a fundraiser very similar to that, where we signed higher, it would be through, second party. And I'm sure how much money they fundraised through that, but it was, really thankful around as well. We've gone into fall sports, winter sports and spring sports. I'm sure those fundraisers are coming, but we've got a lot of new coaches. You in this position, and so we're trying to see what works best for our program. We can start pushing those fundraising at the top in the near future.
I know I did a West Boston football athletes, they were volleyball, they didn't mean pretty private businesses. And also like in the name that donated, and then also Mr. Gonzalez might sign if they might want to get. They might have 2 signs in there, and they'll put contact us, so we can contact those businesses and that's more ready for that.
Yeah. Sorry. I do know about those fundraisers and the big sponsors that support the program. What we did was, we were desperate, very little information on the exit of the last position. So now we're revamping a lot of the information going out. We're changing some of the information and some of the advertisement or the request for sponsors, all that's going to be fine. We're going to be sending it out in the near future. The forms are done. We gotta put them out to the public. So
Very good. Any other questions? There's no other questions. Madam Superintendent, your recommendation is to approve up to $13 for athletic club meal allowance. I would, I make a motion that we approve this. Do I have a second? Second. A second by Mr. Portable. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Portable. This Senator Eugene, verify with Mrs. Gonzalez. Our business manager to make sure that the impact is not going to impact. But we're going to be able to maintain this stuff, we're going to have to go back. Mr. Romero mentioned that it's up to shape.
That it was reasonable because of the $12 impact fees.
Thank you. Next up on the agenda is CCTV building at BT Architects.
We have a number for, this is informational, one of the video knows that I've been working, with. Again, some work, you, at Robertson High School, particularly at the vacant lots where we have and this is to look at building a 16 building that would house 5 of our programs, which is agribusiness, biotechnology, research and development, construction and skill trades, design and digital arts, media production and broadcasting, and a culinary arts program. So what they are beginning to do is, basically come in and look at our space, do a preliminary, recommendation. That they could get in the form. I think that we're looking at regards to funding. Sure you're concerned about is, we do have a donation from the Kitana Valley of $600,000+. I have been in communication with PED for a career area program, and it provides funding for area facilities. And then we also have had some discussion with Martin Raymond's office to support the funding that would be direct commercial funding. That's up to $2 million in the course of the year in the cycle of PED. And my last conversation with Ms. Reed Dennis, they do not have a cap what we asked for. So it would be probably a combination of resources to begin this project in that way. So architects, engineers, and planning first. And
one thing I want to share with the board, 2 weeks ago, I got invited to a meeting with Senator Heiner and Senator Conklin. In a different capacity, on state city board member. And one of the things that I did mention while I was there was the CTE program that state city schools is trying to push, for kids. And, Senator Heiner is one of his pet projects in DC is CTE, something that is really pushing and came up to me after the meeting and we discussed it with it. And, his, personal assistant, Ms. Ripa, I forget her last name, it escapes me right now, but she reached out to me and, asked if we could get the ball rolling, get in touch with the office and see what we can do. There's a lot of funding right now. He's really pushing that. I had Ms. Sandoval send her email. Ms. Sandoval did reach out to him, so it was very positive. You know, Ms. Sandoval mentioned the donation for the $600,000. That's something that we can utilize now to start the process. What's the architects, is there an engineering cost as to what we're looking at or anything?
at this point, there's one part of the agreement that they engaged in is the preliminary first. And methodology, and the practice, and then get what that schematic design, and construction. So through the conversation that I had with them, we were going to explore the prefabricated buildings in that work. And then because Robertson High School, as it sits right now, is teetering right above NCI, which is the condition index for they part of the conversation that we're having is well, in renting a career training or career technical center within that area, what impact and what that would like for a potential Robertson High School major renovation or building within that space. So those are some discussions that we're going to have the long run. There's things like the moment what would it potentially cost? Is that the most really important thing to face with it? And is there also consideration with regards to our middle school projects that and we're in the case of Bayonne also is can some of these career exploration courses and basically be built into the new environment of the school, these based out. We finally got,
First, before we put that over, we're gonna have to. So then before we do that, we just need to see there.
and that's part of the conversation that we're having. So they're gonna give us, thing that is gonna be the most reasonable and feasible with regards to basic locations. So they are actually coming in September 5th, to be able, so they're gonna bring in your drones and for drops and space and so on. And then we'll also take into account what that may look like in at the 35 acres we have at Memorial. And you know, is this the demolition of the fear, building at Robertson, and we'll be there. So those are some of the dynamics.
I think one of the big things is, I have a daughter still in the district, seventh grade right now. And I think the issue that we're having in the patio building, I know the patio building most of us are doing, especially the age, but, we don't have no HVAC, we don't have no ventilation in any of the rooms in the patio building. And when the board at the time transitioned those kids from the Golden Moore Middle School into the patio building, they didn't take into account the HVAC system, so I think the building itself is very dilapidated. And it's not a really dirty environment for children. I know when the temperature was getting up to 90s, the first couple of weeks of school, there was kids that were going to the nursing station for heat exhaustion. I just feel like it's a very kind of conducive place to be a well or a good or learning environment. And so I think those, we need to take into consideration a lot of our facilities in the district are dilapidated. And then change, most of us went to high school and buildings in that campus do that. I've been 30 years since I've been in school, so I think we need to really take a different approach to support. I know we, that $63 million is looking at a new middle school at the one middle school grounds and new elementary school. I think it would be great for us. I understand our enrollment is coming down. And that's something that this kind of touched on before. We lost 600 students in 10 years. That's 38% of our enrollment. And that hurts our budget, our overall budget. So those are the things that we need to take into consideration when we are building new buildings you mentioned. But I think it's time, even if we have to downsize the square footage, we do need some new facilities that are placed in schools. They're very in disarray. Our maintenance department's having issues. It's costing us more money for our maintenance department. It's also costing us a lot of money with our insurance company. And our insurance company, if I'm not mistaken, is already to the point that they will not insure certain things on campus if they're doing things like the same thing over and over and over. So I think this board, the future boards, need to really push to revamp our facilities. I think that should be a goal for the board. Any other questions? Is this something that needs to be approved?
No,
Discussion? Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Sandoval. Next item on the agenda is item D, the central contract agreement for primary care services, school year 25-26.
I didn't want to do it for the chief operating. I've been with Dr. since 2016. I'm happy with being for the responses that are very strategy for the previous higher program for this will be really two big items. And then Georgia will say, all of that each side of the I appreciate you all speaking briefly about the services provided to the students and staff. We've been in the school with the since 2000. follow. We see, students regardless of being in the game, or they have turn. We see students that they're campus service, the high school. We're contracted with the Department of Health to do those services. We're in our second year with the Department of Health, providing services. You're not turning teachers away. We have a licensed health provider available, licensed provider available. The full like major clinic for the staff. The little snapshot that we gave you is talking about APEC. We are really going to follow our staff. We don't tell you the information we saw in the school this past school year. I'll put you in the new website to provide students. Most of our student visits are acute care, training visits, and headache. Things that keep students for one, want to be for we keep them on campus, take care of them there. We do for physical and exam. Try to take care of the students and try to keep them like on top. We so it's an easy access to care program that we provide. They go out the bid, we submit a bid for the next year for this site. This past school year, we've got 900. That was a total of 2,118 visits. We did have quite a bit of telephone visits, which is virtual visits with staff. Majority of our patients in addition were 58%. And our largest patient was 14 minutes. We don't see any patients that are not related to campus. So we had asked previously, we are very conduit and security and we don't have that attitude law. So in your so we just here we appreciate the opportunity to be on campus and continue to do another year with you all. Yeah, any questions?
Are you on campus Monday and Friday during school hours, or is it just random days? We're open.
Like, the Vista, we're there 7:30 to noon on Monday, and then at Robertson, we're there from 12:30 to 4. Tuesday to Friday. So we have access on Monday to Friday.
And on physicals, I know when school got an operation during the summer, you guys go there, so it's so
We follow the school schedule that you guys see when I have been in touch with the athletic director, we did set up physicals. We had Monday through Friday, we did sports physicals. And in speaking to the superintendent, some of us, maybe we get that set up again. I haven't been here athletic director, Mr. Gonzalez, I did take him up here, I didn't know who was. I did have his contact information so that we can put up sports physicals during the year. If I need to get to provide them. Yeah, we'll get whatever. They live in the office.
maybe once she talks to Mr. Dollars before we can maybe announce it on schools and maybe send it out on different websites so parents are aware. I know there was an issue with some of the kids and parents didn't know where to go to the so once you get that coordinated, maybe you can announce it, we let our parents know the streets.
Yeah, and Miss Romana and I coordinated later in the year. On the summer months on. Well, it's different, it posted up here. And now we have access to that too, so we can post it ourselves.
One of the things that we will be doing first between vaccine, vaccine. I think it's whatever. Yeah, I think that
Mr. College shop. So we do that, and then again, free service that we provide to all of the
And help with the people with nurse Lano. Keep in touch with us constantly to speak to digital clinics and individuals. Or anybody's back communication to them as well. And we're our nurse manager. Bring your staff on board.
Today.
This was enough.
We're gonna have all that. It look like that. So they decided that they were gonna have a month to help with the Medicaid. So we've been working with. We will have. We will continue to provide those. And then also, you have a hotline for the mental health issue. It's on our website, it's also on the free basis work that we have. We need to read it. But it's also a nurse device. We also provide medical services in some of the students. So there are many EMR systems, but they, it's a main in summer. Rain, maybe pull it around in that way.
Several and recommendation.
You mentioned it, but it's, they do provide bigger officers.
We can have interesting behavioral services and dating fighting. And if it's during the summer, like girl and shit, we do have access at the medical clinic, which is on Main Street, so there's a couple of blocks of things. So the students will have access at the time, dating fighting.
Just let you all aware, we're currently at no school. There's like there, side. We're at Springer. Schools.
This is for only. Have a recommendation by Ms. Sunny, or will I have a motion? Proposed by Mr. Romero, I have a second. Second by Mr. Porter. Second. I have a second by Mr. Porter, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all for the opinion. Next item on the agenda is I need and FAE check on application resolution in the summer.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I recommend a meeting on the investment for managed data. In the May, formally all of that it is a non-meeting. Board meeting. And then in the October, she will lock in interest rates and in October. Either a special board meeting or a board meeting. I like term. And then in November, after the meeting,
Yes, well. Do I have a motion to receive the application for an annotated check on approval? A motion by Mr. Romero, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gonzalez, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is I start MOU and sample.
Mr. Chair, members, I need a motion for the meeting that we report this as an application. In regards to services that would be provided bigger than what is going to be provided by the school. And making the district together. They are requesting that they find also a all the students. The only obligation that I'm getting is school, the revised MOUs comes as at 5 years. And recommendation to the board, each this for 1 year. I have been working with the early childhood education bureau. With regards to what this could potentially look like for our district. Right now, the which services approximately 140 students that should be from part-time. In addition to that, they have the universal program for services 4-year-olds. And they have capacity for 50 students in our services. The reason behind my recommendation for 1 year payments is to give us the opportunity to open up a mixed pre-K program, which would be 3 and 4-year-old students within our site, within our community. They do provide pre-K provides study for transportation, provides course funding for our staff members, which would be teachers and education system. They provide funding to start up the program itself, $25,000 for the classroom. They also provide $5,000 for students. So speaking again to the directors and the secretary, we could start off with 2 classrooms, which can bring in 16 students or 32 students per classroom, and it would be a mixed age program, a combination of students. It is I think a benefit to our district. I believe largely the students that compete into the they give money start off in a specific school they need to stay there. I know that we have several of our own staff members that take their children to daycare centers, to day campus and so on. I think it enables us to provide a service for our staff members who have taken that. So, that question, I would recommend that we for and make it useful, but you should be
We get it for now, and then you can try to go on,
well, that I would say so. We have actually several teachers that have for grade licenses, just the requirements of the program. I spoke again with the department, and they are able to give waivers if we don't have. We have that degrees. But I think it gives us at least that opportunity to explore that option, right? Open up those conditions further and see what we have. It is an 8-to-1 ratio. We have some students in that class. Of course, it would be teacher and PA. We have many special needs that I experience. It's programs that we asked to get and we have more money, definitely enabled us to start off with very strong foundation.
I have one question for you, Mr. Brown. What, being that everyone in your commission the fourth year, you've been here 10 years. When was the last time we had a historic building? I know we had it, was it about 8 years ago? Probably, did it not? I think it's somewhere in that neighborhood, and I know Ms. Sandoval mentioned that this is a historic program, in the future program, and we will before our district, and maybe that has some kind of contributing factors that probably lost 600 students in the last 10 years, because we got away from programs like that, and helping us feed our kindergarten, nursery, and so on, they do have that support. So I do think it's a great idea that we go along rather than service in the West Las Vegas and following increase federal.
The program design is to well, rest of the presenting about how just at the time we thought we were people representing that is particularly key that we want to call it, but it presented about how it's not over something.
Right. But a lot of those kids are never going to end up at West Las Vegas teachers, because those are the West Las Vegas teachers, they were the West Las Vegas, but we're the ones that are incurring involved costs by maintenance of the building, using the building, don't want to use our staff, we did everything exactly. Our facilities, everything. So I think it'd be in our best interest if we sustain our own program. But thank you, Ms. Sandoval. Is there any questions? Not an entertainment, a motion to approve the West Las Vegas Head Start MOU to 66 school for 1 year.
I'll make a motion that we approve the MOU with the changes in the term from 5 years to 1 year.
A motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Do I have a second? A second by Dr. Mr. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Aye. Motion carries. Mr. Gonzalez. Next item on the agenda is item G, collective bargaining agreement. Ms. Sandoval.
Mr. Chair, I invite Ms. Brooks. Mr. President, I'm looking for, I'm superintendent, good evening. Received part of the honor of being the president of National Educators Association, local, Las Vegas City Schools Union. For the last 2 years, we stand here, myself and the president of the bargaining team, Ms. Dolan, Ms. King, and Mr. Cruz, to this collective bargaining agreement that's been satisfactorily negotiated with the district for the 25-26 school year. There are a few modest, significant changes. In addition to the highlights, some increased prep time at the elementary level to reach a more equitable number with the kind of weekly prep time in secondary. Some opportunities for flex time for educational assistants for studying years. So they have class during the school day that they need to attend. They have made arrangements to make those hours for additional individual class. And we're going to have them on their they become an educator, that way we can work and grow our own. And the person language agreement changes and our requisite salary updates to be commensurate with what passed in last session. I want to say thank you to the district bargaining team for all of their efforts, and thank you to our NEA, BCS bargaining team, for their efforts in getting this done. With that, I stand for questions. And oh yeah, I did. But Christine, you working with great at the Taylor too. Robin, secondary fire procedure. And the educational assistance group. We work on this quite some time with a lot of transitions and a lot of work, and we're really proud to be at this point in this time.
Any questions? Sandoval?
Yeah, there was a part of my plan, CPA, and you're going to one more specific. Than one person. Correct, they are two separate property units.
On my recommendation, I didn't a motion to approve.
One at a time, yay, and then shoot right out.
Oh. Motion by Mr. Rowan. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Cordova. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Cordova, for everything you do. All of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take that on the end of the eight. Ongoing firm legal service agreement, December.
Members of the board, board meeting is this is our law council. They were and they are the ones that are and have to take the resolution to be a election together for us. So I will use the legal service agreement.
Recommendation, we approve the legal service agreement with Ralph Spring Legal Service. We should probably.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Romero, I have a motion before, I have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez, do I have a second? Second. A second by Mr. Cordova. Now, Mr. Romero.
Why would we get another legal for this? Like this? We never did another legal for this before. We were changing one time.
This is the recommendation to the chief of the water. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's in passes.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez, I have a second by Mr. Cordova. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is item I. We have policies 270, 271, there's 270, 271. This printed the.
We did what we wrote and now based on regulation. Of the exhibits. We
But yeah, I don't know if it's splitting down, that's not 270 times. So we do have also in front of us items A, I, J, K, L, and M. I didn't take a motion to approve these with consent. I have a motion by Mr. Romero to approve items I through N as consent. For the first reading, do I have a second? A second by Dr. Missouri. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is your report. Ms. Garcia. You can talk to Mary, just bring.
When I submitted a report for the August 2025, we started off by visiting my sister. The back to school transition has gone well. There has been a lot of learning between us, there's no those there, and making school the place to be. A few different events that they've had going on is open house, social media read. It was designed as a social with a lot of participation from parents and guardians, and it was also a really really good. As far as homecoming, all elementary participate Tuesday of next week being pajama day, Wednesday being this weekend, Thursday being sports therapy, and Friday being party. Another thing I have to tell you is the teaching setting is really big for the people and they're trying to model action and we teach rather than direction. At Los Niños, the transition back to school has also gone very well. It's been very welcoming to the school. Current events are for homecoming days and gardens are located throughout the
And a few future events have been planning to go to the movie night, like Daughters of the Black here in Christmas stockings. As the other week said, the students were very excited to go back to school and the transition has been smoother for 4 years as they got to visit the school at the end of last year. They held the open house in St. John's the first day and went very well. A lot of learning and good. As far as homecoming, they're excited for the parade and excited to meet Girl Club. A future event they have planned for the whole school year is incentive trips. The students will have to meet minimum requirements for to MMA. And they have the upcoming incentive trip would be swimming at risk. At Memorial Middle School, the transition back to school has gone well as well. And current events is participation in back to school pep rally that Robertson hosted, and they have a homecoming dance planned for September 3rd. A future events that they have mentioned is student of the month, both female and male, which will be picked by staff, and then staff member of the month, which will be picked by students. And they want to possibly host with a homecoming before Thanksgiving break. At Robertson, the back to school transition has gone very well, but it's been super busy. We hosted a back to school prep rally, which I think went very well. Our parking lot access has become a lot better, and everyone is still small anymore. And we have sort of work within our document to be required based on the big stuff. Our homecoming is in the groups, tomorrow, we're all going to meet with Vitamin Lions. On Tuesday, we do the barbecue at the soccer mom. Wednesday, anything from backpacking. Thursday is class holiday and Friday is for home. Our dance student in the atmosphere will be moved to the Arlington in weather permits. We are going to always have to do, but that is instead the possibility of class period 6. And one thing that I have with students is our presentation upstairs, sometimes we use advertising. So they say my friends and I get 10 help so we couldn't figure it out. And that's all.
I know, Mr. C, I attended that episode, I know there's a lot of women there, that ensemble was really awesome, with like a huge participation, and they're really good, for kids. Awesome. Any other questions from the students? Thank you. Great. Next item on the agenda is superintendent report. Superintendent.
Mr. Chairman, or the kind of beginning to changing different ranges. I want to say that our student enrollment is likely this year, done to grow ended last year. So that is a good sign. Couple of things that are still outstanding, are parts or elevators. Still waiting on that. They should begin by September. We had a initially on August 18th to begin that work at Robertson High School. Where they did not get they need to the PSFA and the Robertson project with the fire journal. This has been a significant delay. This actually started in February or March prior to starting this petition. And what has happened since that point in time is that Summit was looking to come in and complete the project because they have not been paid for the services they felt they had already been rendered. After many months review, the PSFA and the accounting on our side, we're going to forward once again. The district has paid the portion that we owe to Summit. Member PSFA had to go before the accounting commission to request additional funding to complete this project. Because of the significant delay in timeline that it took to move forward, as the data on their end expired. So I did not make an update of them on the commission this Wednesday. to request more additional funds so that they can be offering purchase orders to pay their portion. Once that is done, and the already been started to come in, then they will. Right now, that's ongoing. An invitation to yes, they will be posted a meeting at Robertson Library on the 4th, Thursday from 5 to 7. And this will be to discuss and review adequacy patterns we're able to be against and up against Robertson next Thursday. Finally, I think this is good news. We allocated a little over $50,000 to all of our teachers this last week. So we have 78 teachers who appropriate $750 for them to utilize in their classrooms for instructional supplies and materials. Classroom needs that they can. It is my understanding that this is some of their different in all of their years. So today was with some of the competitive funds that we received, we were able to free up some Title I money and shot that back directly back to the teachers that feel like they clear release. That would have less impacts. Based on the funding increase that we have on the federal side, those have all been released. So those are coming into our districts. We talked about 89 already, and 10 were just vacancies. What I have also heard on the report, I will have a schedule for you in regards to that supervisors based off of this schedule. The event that you have questions for them regarding the movements, maybe hearing or you want to know if there's something that you want them to address, you know, beforehand, but they'll have a schedule for each of the board meetings, individuals who will be here. We will also have based on the feedback that I was given during one of my evaluations. A little bit more transparency and communication with regards to what's going on in the schools. Each of the directors, supervisors, and schools have provided a one-page account of what has happened at your schools or departments and what is upcoming. Back in the room, you will see several of our most all of our participants tonight. In the event that you have any questions. Regards to what is going on their school. And then we also have a packet for you, a hard copy packet with materials that we gave our staff for the orientation and the beginning of the school year. And if you want to go over that real briefly with you. And it is this particular handout, this PowerPoint that was shared with our staff. And it may show the case from the work as to what that we have made. And the second portion that is integral to reports. This is information and give us a snapshot of our district. And one of the biggest concerns that the enrollment we keep our students in the district. One of the page in that represented a basic school that would fall in as lost 31% of our enrollment since 2015. And as a result of that, of course, comes the funding, this programs, this opportunity for students. So this has to be probably their biggest driving factor with regards to any enrollment, with regards to budget control, and what we do on our site to find funding for the peanut or non-competitive funds that go into the district and seeking extra funds for the district. From 2022, the district lost 7.5% of our and you know, so because of that, we have to put all of our expenses and how we make adjustments to work. And because of that, as I mentioned, we read their budgets the last week is almost going to have to do a little more because of if we don't understand, and I think that the district will face on it. But we believe that the job was key. I mean, this presentation. Classified stuff coming in and saying, well, this is maybe something that we do differently, or this is why we know we that students have the other district, whether it's to benefit public schools and they're operating subjecting or grading two differently full years.
Oh, this is a little quick, I guess, but just before I can thought here, I know one would say, yes, we offered 4%, but I quoted earlier, there's 6%, sorry. I apologize, that's 34%. But it's about 600 individuals, correct? We're about 1,000 students right now, and based on my graph, it's showing about 1,500. One would say that it's getting to the days, as a whole, getting smaller, and people are moving to residential or elementary, that's stated excuse me, but what about West Stadium? Based on PED before the same graph, what are there in the last 20 years?
We there's an increase.
So in 10 years, we saw an increase, we saw a decrease of 34%.
Yes. Their increase was not 30%, but nonetheless, they, you know, they're showing that it's significant increase in we you know, I mean, it was a neighbor looking over what is it that they're doing. They have some programs that they've been able to start up. You know, the facilities. They've done a lot of work with strategies. But when we more kids, more revenue and more opportunities, there's need.
Thank you. Sorry.
The other thing that you'll see on page 3 of this report is the proficiency rates for the districts of lower graduation rates. You'll see that from fiscal year 20, year 2020, graduation rate was 84%. This last year graduation rate was up to 69%. That was the same decline from that period. And then you know, you can say that those are the 4 years, but that has been is a factor, but that is not the only factor. And at some point, COVID has maybe excuse for the other thing we did one to outside in rates steadily decreased over time. So the one that is first, yeah, for principals, radio to looking at The instructional program, where we looking to complete the things that should in lesson planning, strategy, and right to the classroom. I all the instructional materials, which gives you in a little bit is the word that and what about creating and then the teachers, of course, with regards to classroom instruction. The concern with this is that then with the 4% graduation rate, and now 69, is that, you know, depending on those graduation rates be where they were, you know, we're still graduating students that are not, proficient, they're not, you know, we're not graduating a high number of students that are very, that look like it was doing differently. So this is driving a lot of the conversation and the work that we're doing, in as accountability for principals in the classrooms, quite a bit, and, you know, we're working hard. The things that we have before, strategic plan development, engaged the facilitator, and work with us, so getting new data, to help drive the next 3 to 5 years, regardless of the regardless of the superintendent, to provide a direction for individuals. But those are based on engagements in order for us to make changes. It takes time to teach them. Probably the biggest thing is not culture, the mindset. The meeting that we can do this. With that, I start the question before I open up.
I do have a couple of questions and we should just have let's talk to some of these guys.
Yes.
Mr. Bob here from Paul Dead Hall, Mr. Camilo, Mr. Garcia. I just have a few questions for you, all of you. Everyone come up. I know there's a lot of transition. I know there's some state committees from the legislature about cell phones and stuff. How been up in the school there and then for the elementary, but there is cell phones still at high level. What's the challenges you guys are having? Is it working? What's what you guys are doing?
Actually, we've been trying, we do classroom block in the morning. Kids are not presented to any issue, so like affected. Not only the incidents we've had. We, you know, mentioned to them, we put cell phone away. We've done so. Our buildings seem to be one. Actually,
Yeah, so like in over a month, only about 3 phones, we picked up 3 or 4 phones in the school. We pocket to classes all day, so the kids know we're gonna be around, to be there, but they're pretty good. We're following the law, of course, but we set the tone early, we had those success attended early, set the expectation, and we've held expectations so far, so we haven't had, any issues south-wise, throughout all our counties. So we walk everywhere, we share staff, so we're getting that vertical alignment where what happens at this campus will happen at our campus, so that way, when they transition, they know the expectation. So when he gets our kids next year, they're gonna know the expectation of the all that's in place, for the district or the state.
it's interesting because if you give the students the expectation prior, they rise to that challenge.
Physical is.
So this is on the you have to see that. And we don't need to do this. And again, two supervisors, it's easier than that, two supervisors, beginning, they get into the.
I'm very grateful to discuss this year's with you know staff. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we address that with pretty quickly.
And that message was given to the staff during the meeting. We're expecting our students to apply for this, and they also need to model good behavior.
Expectations was set for staff and the students, where we were in alignment, so.
How was the start of school and everything, it's kind of going a little too good right now, well, all my experience, 18 years of it, but it's going pretty well. Kids are pretty positive, we're excited, good kids in this community, so, I think it's moving in the right direction. But we just gotta continue to hold that standard, and throughout the year, not, be around a bit, get lax, so that's our job, we gotta go into the humble for that as well.
Mr. Garcia, I got a question. I know you're right there.
Yeah.
What are we doing this year, based on the numbers, and I see the decline in graduation rate and efficiency there now, what are we gonna do and how are we gonna to change that?
So the first step, again, in the community program, I all of the previous purchase orders, all of the specific lines, and, using the and people program any more that so people will realize them. So so purchasing of the program work more than complete with do follow the high-quality material that is available that has to be all the material, particularly by the low that we're utilizing. We're looking at how teachers are teaching those, looked at a PDP school and a school goal, and then the school teaching will have individual goals and we're relying on those along with our language instruction as well as the teaching strategy. Teachers have been pretty good around the material, the training. Our coaches again go on the high school, middle school, they expected their instruction people to be worked on getting that prepared. So we really looked at a lot of them and make sure we're using what we have effectively. Principals are looking at that as well in regards to their walkthroughs and their expectations. So one of the few things taking up a lot of time right now is what we can do that we're in a good spot and looking for what we can still need to purchase that will help and the teaching reach out. Again, if that is text, so we are going to stretch those dollars as far as we can. Also, we have looked at on the federal program side, a lot of professional development. We have a district council that at least a month in advance of all professional development that we're going into the business. We have done the highest salary for the interim assessment for the 4 to 12 basic already. We have Merrill taking 3, working with NMARCs. We have done one session with our teachers for part of the document. We have the secretary training to get them all around on how to we work with CES, there are 3 councils support in aligning them with all the applications out in the district. I know there will be one of the trainings we follow through as education with the school side. Currently working on mentorship handles, we are starting meetings for the secondary, we started with 6th grade, learning a letter for K through 5th grade, we now started with 6th grade. Dr. Ray and I are working on looking at getting those possible numbers for the next month when we get started on. Upcoming professional development. So we just recently purchased our governmental science adoption year. We need and all of the school size, their kids, the textbooks, the digital version, all of that. the next month or so. And we have those at program at the high school airport, using the program, curriculum, we have that going out, we have ingenuity for recovery courses at the high school. We will be getting, after school programs started a little bit early, and get that on the ground by the 15th, this is just teaching, we will be willing to, teach it. We also looked, my father already for imagine languages that see program that show a lot of literacy improvement at the elementary. We're going to use as K3. Throughout the day, as sort of there is quite higher than something that I can help you to support with the community. And I do want to say a big thank you to everyone that is in our IT integration with all of the digital programs between reading and science. Very well, there's a lot of training, expected, but any issues quickly, but the company is so. I think that's kind of a small portion that I can tell you that we've done so far. There's a lot going on.
This meeting was held by the CCP folk. I hate niggers.
They were acceptable to. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here, 25, 30.
Niggers.
They didn't have to get a position, they could get MSU for them, they've been pretty excited.
Actually, it's not site, it's actually something they got a board or stuff, but it's great.
Yes, we looked at it. That's all they encourage like program, they want like program in their past in particular, in the year. We kind of like that, so we're getting the information out. I hope I've been kind of communicate that updates with where we are with status of all of our curriculum, last year where we are in regards to canvas and I had people know that in 24 hours we
There is oversight here on their part to make sure that everyone on the staff and everybody is triggered the past.
It's the board gentlemen in the back, you know, ready. We really through that whole school, and the school matrix, they have talked to the air and they did an amazing job in creating connections and opportunities for our school and high school students. You know, we have basically course. Many graders we have careers mission at it's digitally in my note. Some of the courses who have already there to them they took them in that time to forget our schedule. But you know, we do have more opportunities for our students, which we hoping you know, we'll see that many results of keeping students in the district and drawing other students to that if they've done this.
We went to, I know Mr. Boston, I was nursing my 7th grade daughter, being that my last daughter in the district, and I don't know much to do on the high school, I'm going to let her to offer this upcoming year, but she was really disappointed at the end of her 5th grade, 6th grade year, that there was only like 2 or 3 of them. I think there was only 2 at the time, that they got just room in there on electives, and then come to find out when she did get there to register in August, that there was like 5 or 6 or 7, and whatever it was, like, it was awesome to see that, and really perfect, the kids added things, saying, hey, there's some options up there, and I don't think it was awesome, the sample, we all did a great job of
Yeah, so we could talk on that, so we came up with it as a group, because if you're an eighth grader. You would have 6 months, I call it 6 periods, wrong, but they call a lot of them here. So that's a class period, so you have 6 months and, an eighth grader really just had. And no other electives, so we looked at that as a group, like, that's hard for a kid, right? Sitting in the hospital all day and having electives, so now our eighth graders have 3 electives. And now our seventh graders have 2, so we're gonna create a program where it's gonna be, we'll have a section where it introduces them in 7th grade, then in 8th grade, and it's align with programs for high school, which is the direction we're trying to go with that, but also a big thing too, as far as getting that's new to the district that, we did together, the PLC, the freshman learning community, so we have all the English department meet together, and they develop the PLCs for their lessons, so we have vertical alignment for all classes. So your 6th grade, your 7th grade, PLA teacher is meeting with your junior level PLA teacher, your math teacher, same thing. So we created sections for those alignments, to make sure that it's streamlined, as a group to make sure that they speak to each other, right? So that should help with schools and communicating and see what's being lacked from each individual within the courses. So I think that was a huge factor to, having some sort of meet together, all your core subjects meet together to make sure that we're not vertically aligned as far as the lesson plans are going, things like that, so that we could eventually go to a streamlined service, so if you go from one campus to another campus, it's all. Are we doing a better job? Middle schoolers, so they from high school. Oh, yes, so they don't travel, the teachers travel to them. And security or the gates and stuff, yes, sir, so, and then the lunches are different, staggered, and then when those kids come in, we ask for the back end, and then high school go to lunch, and then, but in the mornings, like, there's a little bit of crossover interaction, and then, of course, and it's missile as well, but throughout the day, like, the 2 buildings, there's no, crossover.
So our movie schedule is also aligned so that, we have major meetings that are located now, so we're going at it.
It seems like you guys are all working well together,
Amazing, yeah.
working out, which is good.
Any other questions, board members?
No question, that is not any longer leadership. I think I've heard at least one teacher from every school, and I think that's really positive. As far as the support you're getting in, the money that was given into our teachers. And that trickles out of our students, their attitude, the behavior starts with the leadership from the top down. So just thank you for your leadership. You guys think we're great school, even though we're not from a great start, we just thanks for all that you do.
Thank you all for your.
Because we got money at the time, so we had to verify that. And at the time, I asked them for the we're not clear. That said, no, because this contract was part of 2 years. So I looked at here, I find them, and that can do, you could always probably on the other side. But big news. So I took on here, and here, and now find the contract ready. The need for
which is, and they are, their numbers, their vetted, contractor to do that service. So, what I think is probably, if I may be wrong, when you did ask that question, we said they were similar to ES, which is all these legitimate qualities programs, which we're talking about. They all do the same thing, they enable us to not. Yeah, when they're statement.
those labs, I think that's what came up, kind of this definitely secure or this site for the future project that we have going. It's just really great for this service purpose.
So, and have had a significant amount of break-ins, for the district having to, get insurance authority to repair the area that is kind of changed. We have automated. Enable that. Aspects, but, you know, with regards to safety, just even all of this information does go through, you know, they just submit that and they fix.
It looks a lot better, heard a lot of compliments, we already built the facility, great. It's already there. Any other questions? Senator? If there's another question, next time on the agenda, is that exciting? A motion to enter executive session. I have a motion by Mr. Nagal, have a second. Hopefully. For education, what we need for certain amendments, 1976, and 1015, 187, discussion of alternative community review of people claims by acting personnel. Item B, amendment in 1978, section 1015, 182, discussion of community personnel matters.
We can we need to check. We may cannot rate. The vendors that will be. The geo want. Information out, and hopefully to have some pamphlets that we can, we roll up and pass out in addition to. And we just kind of get that quarter. So, yeah, that's September 5th, it's Friday. We have, back our gym. For that. They mentioned, we have engaged in facilitator.
Where's the book?
It's gonna be the strategic plan.
Oh, hold on. So you're getting. Next time on the agenda would be item E, final work session.
So September 18th, wants to have a work session prior to the board meeting. So that will start at 4 o'clock. On September 18th. So the plan for the strategic plan is to have approximately 70 different individuals, community members, certified pathway students. And so want to partake in this, so September 17th and September 18th will be discussed in the district. September 17th will be the committee. But the work session will be specific to course on the 18th at 4.
Next item on the agenda would be item C, regular board meeting September 18th, 2025. Are there any issues with that before? Everybody good?
Real quick, I'm sorry, before we get to that.
I'm sorry.
No, we're fine. I just want to make sure that we're all aware that, today, Thursday, September 4th, there's a public school facilities authority. And there's a meeting at Robertson High School, I think that's, I think it'll be a part of it. You can always go. It is posted on our. Website.
Yeah, and on the opportunities.
So make sure we know that.
What was the date again?
September 4th, Robertson High School, library from 5 to 7. Yeah,
The tenth.
5 to 7.
Can you send us that reminder on sample, please?
Okay, yeah, and I did send you the email from James to, well, yes.
Thank you. Next item, the regular board meeting September 18th, 2025, any opposition to that, we're in the board, is it good? Next item, would be item G, final work session, 2025, open.
Instead of the last person, for the certificate plan, we got, from the work in September, and then, I guess in finalization in October, he will present, what will be a final draft, to you on the 16th.
Great. If there's no business in front of the board, there's a motion to adjourn. Got a motion, number 7. Second, Dr. McGregor, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carries. Thank you. It is now. There.